Another week, another episode of Amazing Entrepreneurs. This is episode 20. I'm here with Alper Behar from Behar Insurance Group, and we're titling this, The Only Thing You Cannot Purchase When You Need It.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome back to another amazing episode of the podcast. This is Amazing Entrepreneurs. I'm joined today with Alper Behar from Behar Insurance.
Yes.
Not group. I said it in the intro. It's not a group. We would like it to be a group, but
Hopefully.
yeah, very soon. So I typically turn it over at this point and say, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do? But there is insurance in the title, so I'll give you a hint. Something about that. But with that being said, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
So as you say, I am the necessary evil. We provide the product that you cannot buy when you need it. You need to buy before. I am the founder and CEO of Behar Insurance.
Okay.
We found the agency. It is an independent insurance agency located in Florida. We are servicing the entire state of Florida.
Okay.
We currently service close to 2,000 customers with about 4,000 policies.
Oh, wow.
And we are 8 people company, including myself.
Okay.
And we have 3 locations: Boca Raton, Fort Pierce, and Orlando.
Wow.
We service our population with every kind of insurance available, including homeowners insurance, car insurance, business insurance, product liability insurance, health insurance, and the accessories with those, the supplemental insurances that come together with those.
I like this because, we're 20 episodes in, and we've had marketing people on, we've had finance people on, we've had myself, I'm an IT guy on, and we've had everything in between. Never had someone speak specifically towards insurance, and it's such a large footprint as to what everybody needs, not just like individuals but also businesses as well. So tell me a little, how long have you guys been in existence, and how we'll start with there. How long?
It's been about 10 years that we have been in existence.
Okay.
And obviously, like every company, we started where we started, and we have been growing since.
Right.
Thankfully.
Right.
And we are serving our customers and their friends and their friends.
Right. So you guys have been so is it primarily grown by like word of mouth, and you got into the insurance, and did you start your own firm immediately, or did you work for someone?
So insurance agency ownership is very difficult in Florida, just because to get the appointments with the insurance carriers is very hard, if not impossible.
Okay.
When I started years ago, I was able to start with a few insurance agency appointments, and then it just grew from there.
So that's you have to speak with the carrier in order to be able to sell their services on their behalf. Is that what
is
you're saying?
correct. They need to accept you that you can sell their services or their product.
Gotcha. Okay. So 10 years ago, you got your insurance license how long ago?
About 10, 11 years ago.
Okay. And then you immediately kind of jumped into doing it for yourself.
That's correct. About 4 months, I worked for an agency.
Okay.
And all I know, everything, I was telling them everything they were doing was incorrect.
Oh, it's a story of my life. I mean, that's an entrepreneur.
Exactly. So one day we sat down and I said, you guys are not doing correctly, and I want a different way. And they said, we cannot do it. So we said, okay, just stay friends. We are still friends. But I think my agency right now is larger.
Right.
Not that I know what to do. They are very nice and established people, just different approach.
Right. And someone was asking me, if you were an entrepreneur, what would you be? And I was like, I don't know if anybody would have me as a part of their organization, just because I tend to walk in and be like, you guys are doing it wrong. Respectfully, right? So you kind of, you were you always as a professional in the insurance industry, or how'd you get into the industry itself?
It's a nice story. In fact, I have a friend who lives in Orlando.
Okay.
He's about 20 years older than me,
Okay.
and he went into the insurance industry for about a year. Every week he was calling me. He says, Alper, you need to get your license. This is something you're gonna love. That's your type of business. You need to get your license. So after about a year, I said, okay, I'll go get my license. So he's happy.
Right.
I got my license. I call him up. I have my license. What next? So he makes some phone calls, put me in touch with some people.
Okay.
And I started selling health insurance. And from there, he was right. I loved it. I still love it.
Really? Okay.
I loved the industry.
Nice. I would be lying if I told you that like I love the insurance industry myself. So, it's and not look, it is would you call it a necessary evil, right?
True.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes it tells you a lot about the industry or who you're dealing with if their primary marketing strategy is you're in good hands, or we're going to be there when you need us.
Yeah.
And we promise you we've got your back is basically what they're saying. But their profit margins is based on them not paying out on stuff. And so to me, that's what it looks like. It's like, hey, they want to charge me money, but they definitely don't want to pay it out.
That's correct. That's correct.
I looked at your face. I was like, man, that was maybe the wrong question, or
So think about this way. Insurance policy is a contract. And like every contract, there are both sides, and both sides are expecting something. And something happens that the contract needs to be enforced. Both sides are trying to run away from it because there are some consequences.
Right.
So the difference of insurance policy from a regular contract is you, as the consumer, you see the contract after you pay for it. You don't get to see the insurance policy unless you ask specifically for that.
Right.
But you see the contract. Your best friend and your only friend is the agent. Agent knows about the contract that he sells you.
Right.
So, and the contracts are usually like Swiss cheese. There are holes everywhere.
Right.
If something happens, obviously, let's say you pay $2,000 for a policy and the damages are $100,000.
Right.
So they're not going to come back and say, hey, here's your $100,000. Thank you very much.
Right.
They're going to go into contract and they will say what happened, why it happened, how it happened. Is it listed in the contract, covered in the contract? And if the contract is prepared properly by the agent,
right,
it should be covered. If it's not prepared properly by the agent, then you find out that there are so many holes that they can run away from.
Right.
And that's the differentiating factor between agents. I'm proudly one of 2% of the agents in Florida that reads policies. Statistics says 98% of the agents don't read policies.
That's frightening.
Yeah, and it's a different language.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I try to read almost everything that I sign, but sometimes you like the terms and conditions are like a novel in of itself.
Yeah, but you have better things to do than reading your auto insurance policy.
Right. So rewind a little bit more. So you've been in it. You opened up Behar Insurance 10, 11 years ago.
Correct.
You're in 3 different locations. You weren't in it originally. You had a buddy of yours who's a little bit older, your senior, and he was like, hey, you're going to love this. You should try to get into this field because I know that you're going to be a passionate guy about this. What were you doing, like say straight out of college or wherever you came from? Like, what did you get into and what was your path going towards, and why are you glad how is this going to be the perfect fit for you?
I think I'm analytical. I like reading. I like challenging. And, in college, they teach you that you have this box that you have to think out of, so become creative or etc. I'm still trying to find my box so I can think out of.
Right.
So out of college, I used to live in Turkey. I was born and raised in Turkey. I
Okay.
came to United States 21 years ago.
Okay.
I had a company selling machinery and equipment,
Okay.
large machinery, plastic processing machinery, injection machines, extrusion lines, etc.
Okay.
And so I had 17 people working for me there.
Okay.
We had sales department servicing. It's a pretty nice organization. So I moved to United States. I became the international sales manager of one of the companies I used to represent in Eastern Europe.
Okay.
And so that was fun, maybe,
Right.
because out of all the places, no offense, but I ended up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Uh,
So it was cold.
yeah. Yeah. what do they call it? And I'm just using somebody else's term, but I've heard it referred to as the mistake by the lake.
Yes.
But I mean,
say-
my producer's like raising his hand. I mean, he's being polite about. I know he's from. I have nothing against. I love Ohioans, right? But like traditionally speaking, football was abysmal. Like, I mean, it's been a rough time up there. It's cold. We're in sunny South Florida.
It's cold.
Yeah. I'll take your word for it. I've never been there. But if you're a Clevelander, don't get mad at me. I'm just third-party information that I heard referred to it somewhere.
But I met the best friends. We are still
Okay.
friends. Very nice people, really nice people in Cleveland. We are
Excellent
still
people.
friends. They come to visit us.
Okay.
When we decided to move to Florida, they all said, "Don't go to Florida." Why? You're going to get bored. Nothing is there. It's all old people.
They're not wrong, but there's a lot of old people down here.
True, true. So in about 2009 or 2010, we ended up in Florida.
Okay.
And at the time, the company I used to work for, like many manufacturing businesses in the United States, they couldn't keep up with the competition around the world. So I wasn't there with them anymore for the last 2 years.
Okay.
I had a franchise. The franchise owner here in Miami couldn't run the business. He had another business. So I took over this location, came to Miami. That's how I came to South Florida. And loved it. And I love it since. We are living in paradise. It's
Yeah.
the best place.
Yeah.
So we were doing this. And
Franchise of what?
STD testing.
Oh,
Oops.
do they have what question?
Not only STD testing, though. It's also DNA testing. Like, who's my baby daddy?
Fair enough. All right. Well, hey, yeah, definitely. So, question: insurance, like, I guess there's insurance against like protecting yourself against STDs. I bet there's got to be some sort of policy or weird policy that you get custom written.
I mean, you have liability insurance, etc. But obviously, we were a reseller, and maybe producer, you may know Sam Silk. He's big up in Chicago, Cleveland, etc. area, and we were doing a DNA test radio show like the Jerry
Springer.
Springer
Okay.
show. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh.
I was in the studio opening up DNA results, and the couple is here, whether he's the daddy or not.
And now you're selling insurance.
Yeah, now I'm selling insurance. So it's a testament that selling for millions of dollars machinery,
Yeah.
selling STD test and DNA test, and now I'm doing insurance. So you can adapt yourself to everything if you want to.
Right.
You need to find the niche in that business that you're gonna love. Like I love reading, and obviously I like reading policies now. Do I
God
understand?
bless
That's
you.
a different question.
God bless you. So, like, there's nothing worse than, like, to me, we also had a couple attorneys on. I was like, well, I feel like they do either argue or they read contracts all day, which is like, I'm totally oversimplifying it, but like, it's not what I thought it would be whenever I was growing up.
Yeah.
So, but you read all your policies then.
I read all my policies. I mean, yes, I'm not a nerd that reads all day long.
Right.
But at least by reading the policies, I learn a little bit about the industry and risks. So I become, maybe when I see a client, I can think together with my client where the risks may be. So I try to cover the risks for that business.
Do you do it? So, question: Do you guys do any of the underwriting on it, or is that strictly the insurance company, or do you guys have amendments, or you guys have anything that you can personalize for it, or say speak on behalf of your clients to the insurance company?
So as an independent agent, we work for the client.
Okay.
We don't work for the insurance company.
Okay.
On the commercial lines, it's easier. Personal lines, car insurance, homeowners insurance is more standard.
Yeah.
There are riders you select from, but it's more standard. On commercial lines, you can keep it standard, or I personally don't do standard at all. I go to my customer's place, I learn what they are doing, how they are doing. I pick up the phone and explain this, discuss with my underwriter.
Mm-hmm.
If necessary, get another underwriter on the phone as well. Make sure that the underwriters understand the business, understand the risks, so they can price it out properly, and also they can prepare the policy properly. Because
Right.
on commercial policies, it's like a puzzle that you put together.
Right. Well, I mean, I know do you do a lot of commercial or personal, or is it a really 50-50?
I'm super fortunate.
Yeah.
About 52% of my business is personal.
Okay.
48% of my business is commercial.
Wow.
Policy
So, I mean,
side.
it's a very much split down the middle.
Exactly. I'm very fortunate. So the fluctuations in the market don't affect me too much,
Yeah.
just because half and half.
Right, right. I mean, because health insurance isn't, well, unless they public.
Health is good.
Unless they make that public or even more public. But they'll probably still be insurance.
It's technically public. I mean, we have private insurance carriers, but the premiums for the most part are paid by Obamacare, so
Right.
by the government,
Right.
based on your income.
Yeah.
So it's not much different than public. Okay, maybe the other difference is the doctors and hospitals are not being paid by the government, but we have experience from other countries.
I
whether
don't
that
get any of
is
my premiums covered, so.
You make too much money, or you are showing too much money.
Maybe, see, I need to talk to my accountant about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, but I know whenever I signed up, they told me explicitly like 15 times, look, if you misrepresent the amount of money you make, we're going to find you. Basically, they were like, hey, your tax records are coming back.
I mean, technically, the circle comes back when you file your tax return.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the term, you anticipate how much money you are going to make. Let's say for this year, 2024, you declare that amount of money on your application, and everything goes super great, and you make 5 times more. It's not your fault, but at the time of your tax return, your accountant adjusting what you made versus what you declared. And if you got excess subsidies, you pay the subsidies back.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
a fair system.
Yeah, no, we try. We do our best. So 10 years ago, 10 or 11, I keep going back 10. So
Let's get that.
we'll say 10, nice round number. First location, Boca. Is that true or false?
False.
False. Where was the first one?
Port St. Lucie.
Port St. Lucie, huh? Okay. And wait, so I know you're in Orlando, Port St. Lucie. Do you guys still have an office in
No,
St.
we
Louis?
moved the Port St. Lucie office to Fort Pierce.
Okay. So Fort Pierce, Orlando, and
Boca.
And so Port St. Lucie was the original one. So tell me about your growth process in regards to, like, where did you start from? It was just you, I'm assuming?
It's just me. It was just me.
Okay.
We are customer-centric. We are not product-centric. There are some agencies, they do car insurance only. They do homeowners insurance. I shouldn't say only, but 90% or majority. We are customer-centric. We believe that if you, as a person, you need multiple lines of insurance policies, whether it's your home, health, your teeth, your eyes, your cars, etc., and they all need to somehow talk to each other.
All right.
Otherwise, you will have gaps. So we started very little, but stayed with our customers.
Okay.
And then we grew by adding multiple lines with the same clients.
Gotcha. Because as the individual grew, you start hey, they either grew their business, or they had kids, or they had more needs, or they accumulated more wealth, so they had to protect more things. I'm assuming this is what you mean by like you scaled up your clients as opposed to scaled them out as much.
Correct, but also even before they grow, almost everybody you meet on the street today needs health insurance,
Absolutely.
car insurance, homeowners insurance.
You better have car insurance.
You better have car insurance, a good
Yeah,
one.
well, don't be having an accident with, you know. Well, I mean, in Florida, my own insurance pays for my accident, right? Is that a true statement?
Partially.
Fair enough.
I'm in insurance business. I cannot.
He's like I can, yeah, yeah.
No, in Florida, I mean, you have the PIP, personal injury protection,
Okay,
which is called as no-fault coverage, but
Okay.
it's up to $10,000 with certain exceptions in it.
gotcha. Why is insurance so expensive in Florida?
A
Car
few,
insurance.
a few reasons for that. Last 3 years, we had a lot of people move to Florida.
Okay,
So the roads are crowded and there are more accidents.
okay,
Secondly, the cars in Florida are newer and high-tech cars. A lot of cars are becoming totaled right away instead of they used to be repaired in the past. Because of the high-tech in the cars, they are being totaled right away. Or the repairs are so expensive that the cars are deemed totaled. So insurance companies are paying much more. And because of in Florida, we generally we don't have people from Florida. Majority of people are not rooted in Florida. They can drive like crazy. Nobody's doing anything.
Right.
Nobody's shaming the family or so because the families are not here, etc. So there are more crazy drivers we have, and statistically, approximately 40% of drivers have either no insurance or zero coverage.
It's terrifying.
It is.
40% of drivers. I've had insurance like car insurance my entire time I've ever drove. So like I don't even understand, can't even fathom how that's possible. So I believe you. I'm not arguing that. I saw right coming back from a holiday party, I saw a car flip 5 times in front of me. I made a posting about it on one of the social media accounts. By the way, give us a follow, like, subscribe at one of our at the link in the show notes below. But if you jump on, you can find a TikTok there of like me just standing right next to the side of the road. This poor woman in a Kia Telluride, that's what I drive, right? But nice and safe. But it was just like it came like I was like, man, that you know what it was? 95. I mean, if you live in South Florida, I mean, you know about the treacherous I-95, right? So
The other thing is I want to warn you and all the listeners here. We don't have car checks in Florida. And if you go to a parking lot, look at the tires. You're going to see most of the tires are worn out. So if they don't have proper tread, they're not staying on the road properly.
right.
So your brake pedal is not working the way you expect because your tires are not there.
Yeah. So I mean, there we go. I mean, a little bit of an idea or a glimpse in the. I know also our homeowners insurance has skyrocketed the past year. Is that due to just the hurricanes or?
For a while, we had a few laws that allowed attorneys and public adjusters taking advantage of some loopholes. And suddenly it became like insurance company is going to give you a free roof. We just need to sue them. And
Yeah, I've heard about those.
last 4 or 5 years, there were hundreds or thousands lawsuits filed against insurance companies. So the roof is like the car on your tire. In fact, it's a wear item.
Right.
But they were doing, and some roofers got caught and they are reprimanded, possibly put in jail by damaging roof so far that the insurance had to replace the roof instead of them fixing a little damage that is already on the roof.
Wow. Okay, so
And-
people are getting free roofs.
A lot of people did. So that hurricanes usually are calculated in the premiums,
Okay.
but this influx of lawsuits and attorney fees, the judges, the court system was granting attorney fees, $500,000, $300,000, $600,000 attorney
What?
fees. Yes, on like a $50,000 claim, there's $500,000 attorney fees.
I'm
kind of.
gonna get one of these we'll call him a hurricane lawyer, and we'll have a confrontational episode. So tell me,
No,
how is it 500? But
it's called fee multiplier.
yeah,
I don't know everything behind it,
right.
but I know some attorneys got reprimanded, some judges had problem, but it was like the norm up until last year when the governor was able to sign a law that is passed by the Senate and Florida Congress. The governor signed the law changing the claims process,
Okay.
and suddenly, after 6 8 months, since November or December last year, everything is opening up again. The premiums are the same, but at least the premium increases have stopped.
Well, I mean, now we need the premiums to go back down then. So have you ever seen
They may-
premiums go down?
Not yet, but I see policies are getting better.
Depressive. All right, fair enough. All right, well,
A lot of exclusions are not there anymore.
all right. I was hoping that like the fees could come down because like I know the escrow or like our escrow is, we're always, but it's always in a deficit because homeowners insurance has gone up, taxes, well, homestead.
Hopefully they will go down.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not fun for me to re-shop for every house every year.
right.
There are some houses that our customers are calling in every 2 or 3 months that we have to re-shop for the same house. We don't get paid every time that we do this.
Right, right, right. No, I get that, So tell me about employee number 2. So you guys, we've talked about specific types of insurance a little bit, mostly on the personal side. So like cars and then houses, but, interested a little bit about the business itself. So like, tell me about your growth, because you talked about scaling up individuals. When did you decide it was time to have a second employee?
Possibly 5 years ago, 4 years, 5 years ago, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm the producer and I see every policy going through the agency.
Okay.
And everybody else that is listed on my website and that's working for me, with me, are support people.
Mm.
Because insurance agents have a lot of liabilities with the Office of Insurance Regulation and to our customers.
Okay.
So I am not willing or ready to have somebody going out in the market and promoting, I will find you the cheapest insurance. No,
Yeah.
it's not my company.
Okay.
So I see every policy.
Okay.
Employee number 2 came 5 years ago to support the paperwork. It's insane amount of paperwork we have to do.
Yeah. Like an administrative assistant or executive
And
assistant?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes. We call them CSR,
Yeah.
customer service reps.
Okay.
They can also modify existing policies, but also they mainly do the paperwork, administrative work.
Paralegals type of stuff.
Kinda, yes, similar to paralegals.
Yeah.
Yes. And then employee number 3 started, employee number 4 started, and then we realized that we have a lot of paperwork, invoices going in and out, etc. So we ended up adding a full-time bookkeeper in the
Okay.
company because of the need.
Right.
So because of the volume, and so on.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Where do you guys see yourself in, where would you like to be in 10 years?
in Florida.
No, I mean, the biz, the organization. So, where do you guys see yourself in 10 years?
I think we're gonna continue the trajectory we have,
Okay.
and I am going to be possibly the biggest hurdle for the company.
Yeah. You're the
As-
constraint.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
like with almost every small business.
Yeah.
So we are happy right now. We are happy with the growth. So we'll see.
Gotcha. So, speaking of growth and growing up, do you have kids?
Yes.
How old are they?
8 and 17.
8 and 17. Well, I don't know if you remember this, but like potty training can be a challenging situation. And if our listeners were paying attention last week, we had a very unique episode. We had an occupational therapist, and she has started a business doing potty training consulting, and really for autistic kids. But in any case, a little bit about this, it can be tricky for any family. Whether you need just a few quick tips or tricks, or your child is experiencing a more serious bowel or bladder condition, Tabby is here to help. Tabby is an occupational therapist with over 12 years of experience in Australia, England, and Scotland. and now is a potty training consultant based here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale area. So Tabby offers specialized support for children and comprehensive training for organizations. Choose from phone consultations, video guidance, or in-home assistance tailored to your child's needs. If your organization is working with children, Tabby can help elevate efficiency with your staff and training on bladder and bowel health, night wetting, and potty training. Say goodbye to potty training stress and hello to success. Tabby is offering a free, no obligation 30-minute phone consultation to all new families. Schedule a session with her at tabithapool.com/booking or send a question to any questions you may have to Tabby, Tabby, at tabithapool.com, or connect with her at Toilet Time with Tabby on Instagram. Very interesting process. And we were talking about like different ways you can brand it and do different things to really kind of elevate. Because I saw, I saw you have a very unique business card, and I'm working on branding myself. So she had a stool on there, it was a pink stool. I was like, you should brand that and then offer that in with your consultation. So, but going back to, instead of protecting your sanity and toilet time, instead let's go back to insurance and talk a little bit about like, so you see yourself as the constraint because you basically you look at every single policy that comes through. Are you looking towards eventually removing the constraint and having somebody else bring that on, or is that something you're comfortable talking about?
Possibly it's going to happen at one point when everything is ready.
Right.
Do I have a 5-year plan and by day 426 I'm going to remove myself?
Yeah.
No, I do not have that plan.
Right.
But possibly it's going to come at one point.
Question. What about marketing? Do you guys, like, how do you generate, because we go through these things and we build up our current client base, but like, tell me about your growth and your look about like, how did you adjust yourself as a marketer as opposed to, because when I say marketer, sometimes it's got a bad connotation, but really, how do you attract new clients in to come in and listen to your sales process, or you can talk about your product?
My marketing has been existing clients all the time.
Okay, so referrals. Okay.
Yes. So I'm very unusual in that aspect. I do have an MBA on marketing.
Oh, okay.
And I am featured at Oxford MBA school textbook.
Oh, wow.
Marketing textbook. They have, I think, 3 pages about me there.
Nice.
So marketing is important.
Right.
And I preach that all my life. But I always analyze each business by itself.
Right.
In my business, it's marketing to existing clients.
Right.
That's how I want to grow.
Right.
And that's how we are getting the phone calls in.
Yeah.
And how we are marketing existing clients, basically keeping in touch with them. Keeping in touch with them, sometimes telling them that other lines of businesses exist, that other insurance policies that we believe they should have, or just sending them a nice box of chocolates out of the blue.
Right.
Works great.
Right.
And people love it, usual chocolates.
Yeah.
And or calling them up on their birthdays, things like that. We keep in the agency, we keep everything on the simple layer, on the base layer.
Right.
No high-tech digital marketing, etc. I mean, thankfully we have about 470 5-star Google reviews.
Yeah. So people must like you.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of people. I don't even know if I know that many people. Yeah. So, and it's probably, well, you said you have a couple thousand clients, right?
Yeah. I mean, when we have a new policy written, we send that email out asking our customers, how was your experience? Would you mind giving us a review?
That's smart. And yeah.
I mean, we are so grateful that they do like us and they do provide a review on Google.
Right.
I think we have about 150 or so on Facebook and about 100 on Yelp, I guess.
Okay.
So that brings new people who are shopping on Google, but 99% of my business is coming for referrals.
Gotcha. So tell me about how about what sparked the the Boca Business Builders. So
It's a fantastic group, isn't it?
I love it, and by the way, guys, this is where we met
Yeah.
through a mutual friend, Dennis. I think he was episode 17 jumped on, and he was talking to us a little bit about
Yeah.
media components, and then he invited me out and that's where we met and shook hands, and it's been amazing. Thank you for having me. But tell me a little bit about that and your how that kind of grew up.
So we had this Boca Business Builders group initially, and like every networking group in Boca Raton area or possibly everywhere,
Right.
it's always standard design that continues and follows. And remember, I mentioned that I don't have this box to think out of. I was watching people's mimics and gestures, and when the time came that I had to lead the group, so when my turn came, we decided to make, with Dennis's approval or confirmation, and Moshe's approval and confirmation, we decided to change the format a little bit, make it a little bit more relaxed, etc. And the group has been going very well since. I mean, I think it's a very powerful networking group. A lot
Yeah.
of business is changing hands.
Yeah.
Put a commercial in facebook.com
Right.
/Boca Business Builders.
There you go. We'll put a, we'll even drop another link in the show notes as well for that. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
And thanks for being a member.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I know it's or at least whenever I got into it, you guys decided, I know it was going on, but you guys transitioned it to be like, hey, we're going to make this a thing. We're going to start building it up and seeing where it takes it off. And it's just a place where us locals can get together, work together, and help, build and grow with each other, right? And that's the vision of it, I'm assuming, correct?
Exactly, because it's all volunteers. We don't have a big corporation. We're not charging any members. And right now, if there are a few expenses, current members are covering the expenses,
Right.
but they are not great expenses. So,
Yeah.
so it's a free networking group. We are not asking everybody to come every week.
Yeah.
If you miss 1 or 2 weeks, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. And it's just easygoing networking group. We
Yeah.
are building the camaraderie that everybody is comfortable with each other.
I'm
and
starting to recognize members, and I know, I know individuals, and whenever stuff comes about, it's not so big that I don't know the people that are involved with it. So I feel like it's actually serving its purpose. So definitely, when do you guys meet?
We meet Tuesday mornings
Okay.
at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Again, unusual for a networking group.
Right.
But Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. at my office, at Behar Insurance Office,
Okay.
by Congress and Clintmore.
Okay.
Meetings are free, and visitors are always welcomed.
Yeah, nice. And give us a follow on Facebook and check it out. It's we're doing a lot of different things. I know there's a lot of SEO involved with it, and we got a marketing guy that's all over it. Right?
Yes, yes, he
Right.
is.
So he's all over it. Yeah, and once a month there's a happy hour, right?
Yes, we introduced a happy hour about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Once a month we have a happy hour. One of our members are sponsoring the appetizers, and everybody pays what they drink. And the happy hours are usually about third week of the month.
Yeah.
It tends to be Wednesdays lately,
Yeah.
between 5 and 7. And the next one is February 21st in Rocco's Tacos.
Love Rocco's Tacos.
Yeah, we had great experience there.
Yeah, it's nice. A nice.
And those happy hours are being attended 40, 45 people, 50 people.
Yeah,
huh?
I enjoyed it. It was a very nice. Like I said, I went to my first last month, and I plan on being a regular attendee. So
Yeah, they are pretty good, well attended. We like those.
right, and it seems to be a lot of business owners and or at least decision makers in the organization who can come and share and strategize, because some of them chambers where you get a lot of people selling to you.
True.
Yeah, and I don't view those to me, I don't want to go to a place where I'm being sold to consistently. I get people have a job, but I want to have a place where I have the ability to network with other professionals. So we're talking business to business professionals and
That was our goal initially, and I think it's working now.
Yeah.
The happy hours are not meant to network.
Yeah.
Or they are meant to network, not meant to talk about the business.
Yeah, it's meant to get to know each other and build relationships.
Exactly. And the meetings are more educating, training the other members about your business so they can sell for you instead of selling to other members.
Right. So, we talked a lot of great things about like personal. We talked about marketing, building business. What about like, I'm a tech guy. So like, tell me about like, is there any specific technology that you tend to use on a day-to-day basis that's been like instrumental in your growth? The
My
phone,
phone,
right? Yeah.
like everybody else.
Yeah. So, phone, yeah, I mean, just typical office apps, emails, Outlook, stuff like that. But do you guys use any CRM, any integrations or anything like that? Or is it just straight through how do you interact with all these different agencies?
Okay. So, insurance agencies in general are using a software called Agency Management System, AMS for short.
Okay.
There are 6, 7, 8 options out there.
Okay.
I happen to use one. It's called NowSearch.
Okay.
Shout out to NowSearch people.
Okay.
NowSearch has been great. It's possibly the youngest out of those, or second youngest maybe.
Okay.
But they are very nimble. When you need a feature, they work on it. Their software is newer, so it's more capable with API connections for automations, etc. And the company is very responsive, so I'm very happy with NowSearch. What this agency management system does is it collects all the data about the policy into one screen, including all the data about the customer into the same screen.
Right.
So once we open the customer's page, we can see all the policies, the renewal dates, claims information, any personal notes, any copies of emails, everything on the same screen.
Right.
So that's what we use. That makes the agency more efficient.
Right. Because you're dealing with all these other vendors out there, upstream or clients.
Correct.
So you're dealing with both sides of it, and you want to be able to quickly gather all the information that you have from different vendors, especially if I have different policies with 5 different companies because I've got a home, an auto.
Correct.
Nice. What about from a business perspective, like especially technology? Can you tell me a little bit about cyber insurance and things like where do you? It seems to be a new and emerging policy that businesses are starting to require. Or
I'm so glad that you are asking this subject. Cyber insurance is super new. Newer. Even insurance companies don't have an idea where it's gonna go.
Right.
There are no standards.
I can tell.
Almost. Yeah. Every insurance carrier has a different cyber policy.
Okay.
They write their own policies, so they are not standards. I mean, ISO, Insurance Service Organization, is working on getting standards, but there are no standards yet. So cyber policies are important. Cyber policies can pay to the third party and also cover the expenses of the policyholder as well. So if somebody is compromised or breached, or there are reporting requirements after a breach, there are restoring requirements after a breach, there could be software expenses, there could be hardware expenses, bricking expenses, etc. So that cyber policies can respond to those. At some points, some cyber policies are known that they were negotiating with hackers or to get everything cleaned up, etc. So the cyber insurance carriers are doing all that work. So it is an extremely important part of every business today.
Right.
And even if you have a restaurant and say, hey, I have a restaurant, all I do is credit card processing, nothing else. Yes, but that credit card information is on your machine until it's uploaded.
Right.
And even that, what's called the white clover.
Yeah,
I
the
think
clover.
Clover or toast or whatever. It's on that machine. It's at the restaurant, so people can get compromised.
Right.
I always try to remind people at Target. A few years back, remember? I mean, Target is a gigantic corporation. They have all the...
I even know how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have all the measures in, technically.
Yeah.
All the safety and security stuff in, and millions of people's data got stolen.
Yeah.
And so it is...
You know how?
Yeah, no.
So, it wasn't Target itself. This is one of the things that like people don't understand. It's like, why am I a target? But it actually happened because of the AC vendor. So they do the vendor that they have contracted out to basically automate different things in the target, like how the temperature and the settings there, they were breached. And because they were breached, they were able to get into target through the third party vendor. So it depends on how big the organization. You always have to have some. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that's, if you're getting robbed nowadays, only an idiot robs a 7-Eleven. You know, only an idiot breaks off the bank, right? The real theft is happening day in and day out to small and medium-sized businesses, and they all say, oh, why would they want to hit me? Well, the truth of the matter is, you may not have anything that they necessarily want, but they'll come in and lock your stuff and say, hey, you can't work until you buy this key back from us. So, like, how much is that worth for you? Yeah. And if you don't buy the key back, well, then have fun taking a week off while you get your business back up and running. And you're never going to get your data back. And by the way, you also got to report to the people that if you lost their specific data. So I've seen entire hospitals shut down, you know, and
Crazy.
people are like trying to get operated on, you know, so it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you're right. I wanted to go into that because, like, the insurance company, they don't know what the hell they're doing with it. They have no idea. They're like, you know, we're going to try to do this, you know, but like it's an emerging thing, and like, you know, insurance providers are negotiating on behalf, and then they hire incident response teams, like guys like us that come in and be like, hey, where are we at? Let me see if I can recover it. No, we actually need to buy it because it's mathematically impossible to decrypt the devices that have been encrypted. So, like, you can either lose productivity and stay closed, or you can buy the key.
Correct. I mean, I always repeat what I learned from. It's not matter of if, it's matter of when.
Yeah.
Everybody is getting breached, or somehow it's being a victim of this.
Yeah.
And insurance companies are learning as it goes, because this didn't happen 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's new. I mean, you got to remember, Eastern Europe, or, you know, Turkey, or, you know, people who aren't in the United States, they see, you know, $50,000 to a company that has 10 people. You should have 50K, or at least some way to run to leverage that, right? And that is 10 times that in Eastern Europe, right? So take that dollar, and so that's life-changing money for a 22-year-old kid. Like our producer, Christian, you know, like he's, well, he's 27, but, you know, I'm joking, but a young kid, and it's all about spraying and praying, and you just catch you on the wrong time. Or if you're an escrow company, or, you know, you're sending money, we've had clients that come to me, it's like, hey, we wired $250,000 to the wrong place. What can we do? Nothing.
Exactly.
You're done. Exactly. Call your insurance company.
Exactly.
File a claim and
make sure you have insurance.
Yes, yes. So speaking of insurance, what's the best way to find you?
Super simple.
Okay.
Website, beharinsurance.com. B as in boy, E, H as in hotel, A as in alpha, R as in Romeo, insurance.com.
Okay.
And my cell phone, 954-980-4000. It's all everywhere.
You know what? We're going to put all of that in the show notes too. So you can't say that we can't get in touch with you. So, and insurance is the one thing that you can't buy when you need it, right?
That is correct.
I love that. You know,
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't touched base on?
No, I'm enjoying the show. I mean, I watched your prior episodes. They are fantastic.
Thank you.
I learned and heard a lot about the episode with Dennis.
I think
was 17.
Love Dennis.
Yeah.
Dennis, did you see some of the stuff he did with that? Like, because he did, by the way, follow his social. He did some crazy, like, I just wish I had the talent and the time to do stuff like that. But he did a lot with the snippets.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a good organization.
Oh, it's strong. And if you want to get to know Dennis, myself, or Alper, or any of the rest of the gang, come to our business
Boca
builder.
Business Builders.
Yeah. Come meet us out. So, well, guys, that's all the time we have. Thanks so much, Alper, for coming on. And it's been another great episode here at Amazing Entrepreneurs. So a little bit of highlights. We're actually going to go into season 2. We're going to be transitioning and doing some things behind the scenes. So we're 20 episodes down now. Perfect. And we've learned a little bit about what we are. And because when we started, I don't know what the hell I wanted to do. Like, I don't know. I was just like, I heard you should do a podcast. And now we're starting to, like, level it up and really focus and deliver good quality content to our listeners, and like how can we properly and do that in the best, most effective way possible. So if you miss us for a week or two, it's not because we don't love you, it's because we're transitioning to the next phase. And thank you so much for being a part of our initial phase, and we will see you again for our next one. And this was a wonderful episode. Thanks again, Alper, for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Thanks for the great show.
Thank you so much. Check out all the links in the show notes, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks. Michael out.